your Capstone, why don't you go to your home page, and underneath your Capstone projects and presentations, you can just open and expand this area, and you'll see here that we have our Capstone project part 1. This is due March 5th, so we still have around a week to work on it, but I just want to introduce it so you guys have the weekend and the week. Go ahead and click on the docx here, and you can open this up. After you open it up, you'll see a big overview, and I won't read this verbatim to you guys, but I'll essentially show off what we're doing here. So for your Capstone in DM141, your goal is to create a restaurant menu. Now, this restaurant can be anything that you choose. A lot of students usually choose something that's like from their heritage or culture. If you want to just go off the walls and make like a melting pot restaurant, that's fine too. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you kind of adhere to the requirements of each Capstone project. It's up to you on how you would like to make it. So you can make a vegan restaurant, vegetarian, barbecue restaurant. It's up to you guys. But definitely don't feel that you have to stick to one routine. And this is why I think it's a bit more fun as well, because there's a lot of possibilities to think about. Also, for your restaurant, because there's some ideas from last quarter as well. If you guys would like, you can try out making a drink restaurant, or like I know there's bubble tea and stuff now, so there's a lot of different, or milkshakes or whatever too. There's a lot of different stuff you guys can do, but just make sure that you're experimenting around. So again, this project, or your Capstone, is creating this menu, and again, restaurant very loosely meaning just some food or drink related items. And for your Capstone part 1, what you're going to be doing is creating a wireframe. Now, wireframe essentially is just a regular basic layout that will be placeholders for new items that you're putting in. And we're going to be relying a lot on the shapes tool that we use at the start of DM140. And remember, in project 1, you used that custom shape where we created our own shape. You're going to be doing some stuff like that as well. Now, to get started on this Capstone project, you're going to need to be designing for a standard US letter size paper, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. I'll go ahead and show everyone how we can get that in Photopea. But what we'll be doing, and what I want everyone to do as well, is you're going to be creating 3 different wireframes. So what you're going to be doing and submitting to me is 3 different images or PSD files that will be your 3 different layouts for your menu for your restaurant. Now, you can also use your paper and pen or a pencil for this, but I think it's actually harder to do it on that because Photopea is just a bit more easier with the dragging out. But if you do this on paper, make sure that you have a way to scan it or upload it. I can help with that as well. So either way is fine, but I would say that Photopea might just be a bit more easier to do it with, but feel free to do it on paper as well. Now again, the wireframes that you create should reflect the appearance of the menu and its elements. And so again, you don't want to focus too much on colors or what's inside of there. You just want to focus on how things are placed, where they're placed, and how your layout should look. Now let's just say I'm going to get started on my Capstone project here. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my... Oops, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Photopea inside of my browser. And you'll notice that during our Capstone read-through, it said that we have to design our menus for 8.5 by 11 inches. So how do I go about doing that? Well, when I hit New Project, you'll notice that this templates is what we usually use when we were working before. So these templates are what we're used to, but we have to pick an 8.5 by 11 inches. So what we're actually going to do is go over to this left column section over here. I'm going to hit print, that's down here, this print icon. And you'll notice that there's a bunch of them that are around. And let me see here. I'm going to go up to this PX that's up here. And I'm going to change the measurement that we're looking at from pixels to inches. Now, I also think... Is this one going to give me the... There it is. So after I changed it to inches, it changed around a few of these items here. But you'll notice at the bottom, there's an option called letter. And even if you don't see the measurements, that's fine. But this letter option is actually 8.5 by 11 inches big. So I'm going to click on that one. And then I'm going to hit create, and my background is going to be white. Or you can change the color if you'd like, but I'm just going to make it white. Hit it create, and now I actually have my 8.5 by 11 inches wireframe that I can go ahead and work with. So if you continue to scroll down in this capstone, you actually get examples of it. I know some students from last capstone, like, if you follow along with this example, like, pretty identically, it's fine, as long as you do your own work and, like, actually tried it out yourself. But what I would say is that there's definitely lots of menus out there that you can look up as well. Any type that you would like is fine. But what I would say is try to get a bit more creative with it. But if you do feel stuck for, like, one of your wireframes and you kind of have two you really like and one you don't really mind too much, you can go ahead and kind of mimic one of these. That's fine. But what I would say is that if you are going to with one of your wireframes, make sure you kind of create it yourself. Don't just copy and paste anything. Make sure you put some time into it, because it will just make your next capstones that much easier, because you know what it wants to look like in the color scheme. Now there's a few more things down here I'll talk about too in a bit, but again, I'm just going to go ahead and run through a quick example of what our capstone can look like. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead, and now I went into my 8.5 by 11 inches, and I now have my basic layout of my item. And now I need to think, okay, how do I want my logo or restaurant to look like? So again, you have a few examples down here. There's also Pinterest, which is linked right here. If you control click on that, or you just type in Pinterest online, you can see there's a few images here. Hopefully it doesn't. Let me look up on Google Images as well really quick. I'm just going to look up menus for restaurant or Google Images. Pinterest would work as well. But as you can see, there's a bunch of menus on here you can look at. And you'll notice that some of these are actually 8.5 by 11 as well. But you'll notice some of them are also horizontal. So we'll get into that later on for your capstones as well. But for now, I just want everyone to try out the 8.5 by 11 inches version of your menu to try and get that to work. But if you do feel that you want to try out a horizontal menu, what you can do is you can go up to Edit. What you could do is, while you have your 8.5 by 11 inches there, you can go to Image, and then Image Size. And if you change this to inches, you can actually swap the 8.5 by 11. It's easy. For right now, I'm not going to worry too much about working with red or gray. I'm just going to go ahead and go to Fill up here and select gray. And what I can do from here is kind of mimic what happened down here if I'd like, or look up some ideas online, just like we did earlier. So this menu looks pretty interesting. There's lots of cool ones out here. You'll spend a lot of time looking at these, but you'll notice that a few of them are very interesting. But again, for your menu today, or excuse me, for your capstone project, you don't want to put in any information. You just want to put in text, or excuse me, placeholder text, stuff that says lorem ipsum, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and some logo stuff as well. So let's just say for my restaurant, I'm going to select my rectangle tool. I'm going to have fill. I'm going to drag out a rectangle up here. And then maybe this might be something along the lines of type as square or something like that as well. That's up there. I can then go to my ellipse tool, and then I can drag out the ellipse tool for this circle that's over here. And then I might be able to figure out what I want to put in these. So I can go to my type tool now, and I can select a circle. And inside the circle, I could say something like logo. And that might be a bit hard to see here. Oh, there's my logo. It's very small. And then I'm going to go to this text tool. I'm just going to increase the size of my text that's here. And then I can go ahead and drag it down a little bit as well. So now I have my logo in here for my text. I can duplicate this layer. And I have a copy of my logo. I'm not sure why it's doing that circle thing. I can hit T again and just type out again. I'm going to say name, maybe. So the name of my restaurant will go up here. Now, this is very bare bones because I'm just doing a quick example of it. But you can see that this might be a type of restaurant design that you'd like. I can go back to my rectangle tool, which is right here. And remember, I can right-click on it to change it. There's a line option. So I can select the line, and I can maybe drag a line that's like this. So I can have a line through my menu. I can delete that one. And again, if I wanted to put images or anything like that as well, I could go ahead and do it. If I, let's see, I can go to rectangle. And then maybe my images would be over here on the side to work with. I could have a few of them if I'd like. And stuff like this that would just continually be adding to your capstone image. Again, I don't care too much about the image. Like, you don't have to say burger or hot dog or anything like that as well. What you can do is use something called lorem ipsum. And lorem ipsum essentially stands for just a type of placeholder text before you actually delve in and build up your capstone. So maybe inside of my restaurant, I will have something like this, where I type in lorem ipsum, and then this might be a title of like maybe this would be like pasta dishes or something. And then I can go ahead and underneath that, I could just duplicate this again. And then I can put this underneath this guy here. But I can also change the name of it too. So I could change the name a little bit. I can also decrease the size so that it's a bit smaller. I can say, let's see here. I could say this is 99 bucks or something like that. Just some placeholders or 0. And then essentially, if I create it like this, what this would be is a line item inside of my restaurant. Let me duplicate this again, maybe one more time. And as you can see, I can actually make quite a few of these go around. And you can go ahead and kind of eyeball it if you like, or you can get very specific with it too. But as you can see, I'm kind of just fiddling around with my wireframe and seeing how I like it. Now again, there's going to be 3 different wireframes, and your lorem ipsum is just placeholder text, so you can just, instead of just putting gibberish, you can put lorem ipsum if you'd like. But you'll also notice here, excuse me, that my, let's see here, that my layer pane is getting very big, right? So as you can see here, if I keep creating and adding more shapes to this, I will have like 50 items in my layer pane. So how do I go about organizing my layer pane so it doesn't get too overwhelming and that I'm not too confused by where my layers are? We covered this a little bit in DM140, but if you go down to the bottom here, you'll see something that says new folder. So if I select new folder, I have this item called folder 12, and I can go ahead and double click on it. And let's just say instead of lorem ipsum, I just put a 1 inside of it. So I'm saying lorem ipsum 1, and this is going to be my first menu item with some items under it. I can double click on my folder, and this is just for me to reference where it is. But I'm going to call this folder lorem ipsum 1, and if I hide the images, so these are the layers that are a part of lorem ipsum 1, I can click on this title down here, and I can shift click. Some of us remember this from Project 1s and stuff as well. So I selected multiple of my layers, and I can drag all of these guys into my folder. Whoops-a-daisy. Let me drag them. Right, let's see here. Wondering why he's not going in there. Let's see. Okay, it's not working for me real quick. I'm wondering why. Let's see here. Let me select these guys. Maybe create a new folder this way. Okay. So I went a bit, jumped the gun there. So what I'm going to do is, because all of these guys are line items together, what I can do is shift click all of them together. And then at the bottom here, I'm going to hit new folder, and it will put all of those guys into a folder. Now I'm just going to call this folder lorem ipsum 1, because that's what I called this top one up here. And now I can actually hide and show this folder as I would like. And I can hide them too so that I can see where they are. So if you feel that your capstone part one is getting a bit too overwhelming with how many layers you have, you can definitely go to the folder and use the folder tool to help with it as well. Now, if you remember, you're supposed to make 3 different wireframes for this. So after you finish your one, I'm not going to keep going with this because it might take me forever. So what I'll do is I'll go to File, and then I'm going to save as a PSD. And then what I can do is just go ahead and drag this PSD to my desktop down here. And then what I can say is rename this as wireframe 1. And then what I'm going to do is you can either rearrange your stuff inside of your wireframe to any way that you'd like it to. I could do something like this. And then start rearranging it and then save it as wireframe 2. And again, this is just for example, so make sure you put more effort into it than I just did right there. But again, I'm going to have 3 different wireframes to submit. And essentially, the point of doing 3 different wireframes is so that you can get experience with making different ones and pick out the favorite one that you'd like. So definitely give this one some time. And what I talked about with making folders is down here as well, just to make sure that you don't get too confused by anything. But it's definitely helpful for this as well. So essentially that is your project 1. Remember that you're going to be creating 3 different wireframes using shapes, and all you will really need to do is just use lorem ipsum and some placeholder text to do it. And you can use black and gray, or you can pick colors if you like, but on later Capstone projects we'll be picking fonts and colors, so you don't need to worry about those just right now.